friends, and wait for people to join. Sandy Shellis. Tonight I want to read a piece. I have to admittedly say I have not read the book yet, but I came across an article I thought would be really interesting on an early Friday evening, June 3rd, 2019, which is, it's insane to think about that it is. It's called Depressed About Climate Change, and here's how to take action. Take it for what it is. We all are suffering in some sense of the word over all of the things that are going on in our environment. We have, just today, there was an article in Vice about 2050. And then it was shared into a couple of groups on Facebook. And when I read about 2050, I think with all of the exponential climate change, exponentially changing these patterns. It was only 50 something here today. Hey guys, going south, Prank Squire, Kim, good. You can hardly hear me. All right, let me make it all louder. You can hardly hear me. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. Everything's good on my end. I'll move it right up on this one and see if I can do it. Okay, let's see if that's better. Anyway, let's go for this. We go through so much with all the information we have, right? And you look for support. You look for friendship. We have camaraderie here. We have camaraderie on other channels. And we want to keep it that way. But I found this, I thought, let's read it. We'll have a little discussion on what this author is particularly saying, whether we agree, whether we disagree, but all in a sense of trying to make us feel a little better, because it's just not so wonderful, every day. I struggle with things every day, I get out of myself, and like all of you, we go and we read what we read, and yet we have to be able to handle it. So here's one, and let's go for it, and then we'll talk about this afterwards. And whoever joins us, it is called, and I'll tell you what it's called, Depressed About Climate Change, and Here's How to Take Action. And the website is called chelseagreen.com. And I actually really don't know much about this one. And in fact, I'm going to take this thing off, and I'm going to start right now and say hi to Rob. And all right, there's a few of you here. So this is what it looks like. And of course, they use the polar bear. Always elicits emotion and response out of people. You just put a polar bear on and people become blubbering idiots. All right. The facts about climate change are settled. Mostly. In fact, the news seems to get worse and more urgent every day. Yet the more the facts stack up, the less resolve many people seem to have about getting behind solutions that will stem or turn the tide. What gives? Economist and psychologist, that's a mix, huh? Per Espen Stoknes offers a refreshing take on why we're avoiding the obvious and inevitable, and how climate change believers can better talk to and support people who are having a hard time making sense of just what it is they are supposed to be doing. Eat better, buy better light bulbs, drive less, walk more, all of the above. In his book, What We Think When We Try Not to Think of Global Warming, Stoknes masterfully identifies the 5 main psychological barriers to climate action. But he then offers up 5 new strategies that are social, positive, simple. Okay. Oh, sorry. Okay, here we go. Simple and lead to making climate-friendly behaviors easy and convenient. He also examines how the consistent doom and gloom messages from some climate activists have only reinforced those barriers to action and how we can turn it around. I say if we can turn it around. We posed a few questions to Stoknes about his book and how he believes we can take steps to move beyond the great grief of climate change and move toward actions that are meaningful and improve our future. And see, I do like this. I'm attracted to this naturally. I really am. And has Sam Mitchell joined us? Because Kim said, hi, Sam. All right, so there are many surprises in your book. This is now the interview person, including your explanation of what really keeps people from taking action on climate change. It's not always what people might accept. So what keeps us from doing the right thing? There are at least 5 main defenses, the 5 Ds. Now remember, I'm reading his response, as I call them, that keep us from acknowledging the need for change. We distance ourselves from the climate change issue. We avoid doom and sacrifice messengers. We experience cognitive dissonance. We get rid of fear and guilt through denial mechanisms and automatically resist criticisms of my identity, job, and lifestyle. And I should be clear, it's not that people don't care. The problem is that people can't see there are any effective solutions. Then they feel helpless, start distancing themselves from the issue, and give little priority to it. Our limited pool of what we most often worry about is often filled with concerns closer to us, our job, family, health, and education. I think we all know about that one, the things that are close to us. But that's how we get through our days, right? We live for our own life. Okay, so then she asks, a key difference in your book as compared to other recent climate books is that you reveal how simple it can be to change behavior if we approach the topic differently. What should we be doing differently, and how are these new approaches proving effective? For too long, we've relied solely on a highly rational double push, he says. More scientific facts will finally convince the wayward about climate change. And there must be a global price on carbon emissions, but neither is rooted in our messy social reality or guided by how our brains actually think. Oddly enough, more facts and more taxes don't build policy support among people. It's time for a different approach. Finding ways. Oh, wait, going south says Stoknes is a moron. Well, we'll talk about this after. Let me finish reading it. We can talk about all the critiques and everything after. All right, so it's time for a different approach. Finding ways of engaging that go with the evolutionary flow of human mind rather than push against it. One starting point is to use the power of social networks. Most of us imitate others. If I believe everyone else is driving big cars and using more energy than me, then I'll do the same or more. Research has shown that if people believe their neighbors are conserving more energy and water themselves, then they'll start doing it too, or more. Maybe this was like he should have written this 30 years ago. Okay. When working with social networks, we should avoid framing climate change as catastrophe, cost, and sacrifice. Rather, we should employ supportive framings by positioning climate change as opportunities for smarter growth solutions for our cities and companies, or as a national insurance issue, or as a public health concern. And then the interviewer says, you point out that people often change their behaviors before they change their beliefs. So is it really possible to get a denier to make behavioral changes, to live a more climate-friendly life, or back more climate-friendly policies? And will that really lead to him or her accepting the facts eventually on climate change? He says, in reality, behavior nudges are also methods of climate communication. They help us get around the 5 main barriers that hinder support. Max, you're here. Hapsataki. Oh gosh, Finland in the house. A lot of people in the house. This is great. Great to see you. Okay, so let me get So they help us get around the 5 main barriers that hinder support for climate policy. They work around the distance barrier by making the climate issue feel near and relevant to personal behavior. They nudge us out of the cost and sacrifice framing that haunts the climate issue and creates the doom barrier. Guilty. They promote behavior that influences attitudes, helping us reduce the dissonance and denial barriers. It is easy to behave consistently with our beliefs when nudged. Research shows that giving money or time to a cause strengthens our positive attitudes about that cause. So, nudges that combine thinking and doing can turn cognitive dissonance around for good. If I do all these things, insulate my house, go solar, have a high quality and efficient appliances, recycle, then the cause must be important and therefore the science behind it is right. This seems to be the way our minds work, more psychological than logical. Hmm. That kind of does remind me of something that from my undergrad days in psychology. All right, so the questioner or interviewer goes on and says, you define the feeling that many climate change activists and scientists have around the gloom and doom of global warming as the great grief. Are we working through the 5 stages of grief as the notion of a dying planet takes hold? Explain how we can move from depression to action. He says climate depression is, well, depressing. Despair, anger, sorrow, loss, and exasperation, all these types of feelings are creeping up on people who get into the reality of global warming. It feels devastating. It looks inevitable and terribly destructive to the beautiful landscapes we love. Most want to move out of this darkness and into hope and action immediately. Scientists in particular are trained to take their feelings out of the equations. But maybe we should not discard the despair and depression so fast. That our individual grief and emotional loss can actually be a broadly shared reaction to the decline of nature is an idea that rarely appears in conversation or the popular media. This more than personal sadness is what I call the great grief. A feeling rising in us, in our psyche, as if from the earth itself at this time. To challenge is not to shut ourselves out from this great grief when it comes to awareness. By entering more fully into the grief, we may move through denial and bargaining, despair and grief to a fuller acceptance of the mess we're in. Paradoxically, as we travel through it, shaping it, expressing it, we may find a renewed way of caring for the land, air, ourselves, and others. Contact with the pain of the world can also open the heart to reach out to all things still living. Through this mourning, we may gradually shift from helpless depression to a heartfelt appreciation and re-engagement. Going more fully down to the depths of despair can also bring a healing. It cracks the stressed out, numbed heart open to a deeper reconnection with the more than human world. Painful, yes, but potentially transformative. I don't know. I kind of liked it. So I need to know about this, guy. I guess I don't know enough about him. I see that there's stuff going on in the comment section about him. I didn't think it was a horrible article. I thought that it was actually a little uplifting because you know what? I could be in the despair. I have a lot of things to despair about. My physical body's falling apart at the same time the planet is. But I guess because I take action and I do this and I do what's within my capability to do, even if it's sitting at home for an hour, sitting in this chair and then having to lay down, whatever it is, I do it and I'm here with you guys. So let's see what everybody thinks about it. Okay. I'm going to go back in some of these comments because it's really good to see you, by the way, Max. Hapsataki. And I'm just checking here. Let's see. I don't know how it's going. All right. Let's go back. And I know that Harley said it was an interesting take. See, I did too. And I need to know why somebody called the person a moron, a moron climate denier. Norway Green Party. Okay, well, being that you're from Norway, you may know, but the article itself was not a bad article. Some people would say the article has hopium. I actually don't see hopium as much as maybe let's just live our life because we're here. And I always say we're here until we're not. It's really great to see you, Max. I'm so happy you're here. And Kim is with us. And let's see, Prankish Squire, what are you saying? We have complete control over our response. Well, some of us, not all of us, not all of us have control. There are some of us that don't have control, that have physiological issues that don't allow a lot of control. You can't, I guess there's no blanket there. I don't think it is, but at least my education and my background don't tell me that everybody is. Okay, well, I'm going to give you another. Human rights are the only issue going forward. Human rights? Was that a little bit sarcastic? Because I see not so much always human rights, although we have so many horrid things going on. I mean, we have, terrible things going on. Humans are always horrible to humans, but I see a lot more animal rights and environmental rights and plant rights and fish rights and biosphere rights. Also, I understand the need for human rights and justice. Okay, let's see what's going on in. He's got a thunder front rolling in out there. Oh, where you are, huh? Okay, so let's Kim says, I want Sandy to read bedtime stories. Great narrator she is. Yeah, not for long though. What happens is my throat literally hurts. And I'm not any better. It's been a year since the surgery in like a week, and I'm all messed up, outside, inside, but I'm here because I'm not going to give up. I'm not going to give up. So, okay, so let's get to some of this article. Oh my God, depression is depressing now. I'm putting it up there. You guys want to talk? Action helps, but does not prevent depression. Well, but you can be distracted from depression. If you don't, well, as long as you don't tie everything you're doing to the outcome, because we know that nothing is for sure. I mean, no matter what we do, even fighting a pipeline here, and the outcome was great. In 2017, we won. Now we got to fight again. They are fighting. These people are fighting like unbelievable. Let's see. Kim says, sad that no one seems to be aware of what's going to happen. They just live on the way they do. There's a couple of ways to think about that one, Kim. As the illustrious Hambone Littletail calls them on Humpty Dumpty tribe, clueless effing morons. And maybe they're better off that way. People that actually don't know anything. But I'm not running into too many that don't know. And because I have a mouth and I talk to everybody everywhere I go, they seem to know. The people that you wouldn't even think would know. I mean, from, like I say, I go into the stores and I'll just casually mention something or bring it up or weather, and we start a dialogue, and people do know. They're much more than they did because the media has shown more. I mean, when I started this crap, nobody knew anything. People were flipping out even if you mentioned overpopulation. It's not quite that bad anymore in this community. Okay, Lightning Rod, who are the psychopathic killers bent on your destruction? Politicians? And Lightning Rod's here. You're here from Thunder Bay, Canada. Great. And so we've got Greenland here, and we've got Finland here, and we've got Washington State and Western New York. And okay, let's see what Harley said. Not so much hopium, just actually not acknowledging that there's nothing we can do about it. Well, yeah, I don't come out with that, I don't say, I just want to be able to say, hey, I did this, I did that, or I feel like I accomplished something, even if it's infinitesimal, I guess, to make it through. Maybe that's just me, you know. But I see a lot of you that are here in the comment sections are accomplishing people. Oh boy. The Green Party over here in Finland should be renamed to the Greenwash Party. Wholesale of our forests, no problemo. More nuclear plants and end waste deposits, all's well. More mines, okay. It's sad, Max. It's about what's everything going on, right? Let's see, guys. Hi, S. Shiva. She says, try cannabis. Yep, well, I have and I do, thanks to New York Medical. Oh my God. Okay, let's see. Oh, Kim says planting trees. They keep you undepressed and wish you could do more. Right. Yeah, because you have a back problem like I have a back problem and a neck problem. And I wanted to go out and I wanted to just pull a few weeds. I don't do a lot of pulling weeds because I just want to take the weeds out that are choking some of the other plants. I couldn't even do that today because I went to pick up something in my truck. I didn't load it. I didn't unload it. But the goddamn thing was so windy, blew all, even though I ratchet strapped, it blew all over the back of my truck. It's a wooden bench type thing. And I had to get out on the highway and just like hop in the back and retie this thing. And that was it for me today. It's terrible to be like this, but so that's why I guess some of that article might have resonated with me because I do those principles in life. Let's see, Harley. I like that you're here, Harley. It's nice to see you. Oh, people are more knowing about climate change for sure, but they don't get it as to just how fucked we are. Some do, and they just can't even deal with it, like he said. People can't deal with it. Lightning Ron, it is biblical. You're naive, innocent, and unaware of your surroundings. In fact, ignorant. Once you have eaten that apple from the tree of knowledge. Yeah, that was good. I like that. Oh wow, Greg's from New Orleans, New Orleans, New Zealand. Cool. That's right. I knew I kind of recognized your name. Um, let's see. Oh no, you posted about XR today. They're joining the clueless deniers. How can they be deniers? I mean, I understand as the controversy around that they're asking politicians to take action, and we all know that politicians are bought off money grubbing fools. But it's what we have. I still advocate for voting. I'm never going to say don't vote, but for what it's worth, you try to think you're doing something right. I like the younger people in the United States that are running as progressives, even if they don't win. They're not the same crop of shits that came out before. They're not. They're not. Let's see. Kim, I'm about to put down. I never could pronounce this right. Spam. I never pronounced it right. Moss. In this backyard, since the apartment will not plant any grass here, it's all dirt. Okay, so you'll have some green stuff back there. Good. So what are you guys all up to in there? I know you're having a good conversation in the chat. You're talking about, Prank Esquire said he knows, he's talking on Lightning Rod in the thing, that I know several billionaires that don't have a clue what to do. Some of them try and mostly fail. Well, the only thing I'm doing is just planting a garden when it stops being 55 degrees in June in Western New York and raining. Or my husband is planting with his friends. The beds are almost done. Go on. I try. Yesterday I didn't have a positive attitude because I was a technologically challenged person. And I did a rant on it because that's part and parcel of this whole mess, I think. Anyway, Harley said, well, we actually could start sucking the CO2 out of the atmosphere. The tech exists in Sweden. That's the only thing that should be moving forward, as if it's the only thing that could actually fix this. Okay, but one thing, Harley, while we're sucking it out of the air, don't you think we have to stop putting it in the air, right? Somehow? And then that entails mining of rare earth, so to make solar panels and the things for renewable energy. So it's like a feedback loop of crazy. Everything with energy is. And I'm not going to say I don't want to take us down a depressing path because, people call them solutions. I just call them a stopgap measure to give us more time if we even have it, you know? Okay, there's the doomer in me popping out even though I have positivity, you know. All right, let's see here. What are you doing, Max? He's drinking a few beers. It's 3 a.m. there in Finland. Can't keep the windows open because the thunder front. I'd add in the word storm, but it's hardly raining out there, although there's proper thunder. Okay, well, we had that the other day, but I'm sure it's not the same front that you're going through. And I don't know if you saw my driving through the shit, the crazy video. It was crazy, crazy, crazy. All right, Carly's answered my question. Can't stop putting it in, global dimming, until we start taking it out first. Well, that is guys, McPherson's viewpoint as far as global dimming. Other people have that. I think people don't talk about it. And I certainly don't know a ton. I've done a little piece on it and I've read as much as I could to learn about it. Let's see. Yeah, Torstein says the CO2 2018 emission increase was the biggest in recorded history. Biggest in recorded history. Well, Shiva, she says, doom, doom, doom. I can laugh and say it, right? I can laugh and say it because it is what it is. I mean, there's no escaping what the reality is. I mean, when you follow the science, you just know. I've been doing this for quite a while now. I mean, what am I going on? 3 years? And then really 2 years, I woke up to, well, the reality of what the scientists were saying. I guess a year before the media started talking to the regular apocalyptimists out there. And here we all are, early Friday evening. It's still very light where I am, which is really nice because I cannot stand. I like getting up, it's light, and I like going to, being this evening, it's light. That means after I get off with you guys, I go out to the greenhouse and I have to make the heat. We have to use the electric heater. It's going to go down with a freeze warning tonight. And we don't want all our stuff that isn't even in the ground yet to go bloop before we even get there. Feedback loops, jet stream, craziness. Boy, we can really, 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 let's see what we're doing. I don't want to, I see, well, we have a discussion in the comments. I think Lightning Rod had said something, and then Prager Squire said, I'm not disagreeing with you, but how would you spend big bucks if you were Gates? Oh, I guess they're having a talk about this. And Lightning Rod says, wait, that was Kim. No, since you started. Yeah, Kim. Kim's my buddy. I mean, she's like my sister. And if I was near her, we would be together hanging out all the time. I already know that. And I wish she could come here. I wanted her to come here for my party last year since I invited the entire freaking world. All right, Lightning Rod it is a BS argument. We have no zero NIL, I can't even see it, problem loading the atmosphere with particulates. We could use harmless ones or just burn soot like we are now. So I see you guys, it's spurred to have a good conversation. I kind of like it. It's hard for me to keep up with over on this side, right? But I like it. I like it. So there's 23 of you with me. That's cool. If there's anything you guys want to talk about before I go, I don't have the ability to bring anybody like Chris does, a natural progressive, to bring anybody live, especially since the crappy ass modem I have is the same one and I didn't get the new one yet. Well, I did get the new one and I had to send it back. Technology. So tell me, are we all feeling a little tiny bit better for having been with me tonight? I know I am. I always am. Especially when I know I've got like the most amazing people in the entire world that'll join here and on Facebook. I just like YouTube. You guys are my warm and fuzzies. And I like it. So thank you. Thank you. See, I do have a purpose. And I have a reason, Even though I say I don't want to be around for 20 more years, that's realistic. Doesn't mean I'm depressed. And you know what? I even cry. Doesn't mean I'm depressed. It means I'm just human. Okay, wait. Kim said something before I go. She said something about that the Barents Sea is all melted. Who wants to answer that one? Um, oh boy, you guys are going fast in there. Well, Prank Esquire, what a sweetheart. It's not just my group. We have a family, it's a YouTube family kind of, and there's a group of us that go between the different channels, and that's what makes it so cool. You know, it's not even, for me, it's not about thumbs up, thumbs down, because I know people are not nice all the time. There's going to be thumbs down. I always get it. Whoop. Antonio gets them. Nicholas gets them. People just do that. And I don't care. I don't care how many views I get. It's the quality of this chat. It's the material I bring up. And it's you guys. You know? You guys. Frank Esquire says, he's not depressed, but he cries all the time. I do too. Things make me cry. And it feels better when I finish, you know? Sometimes I feel like, man, I don't want to stop. But I stop and I pick myself up. Yeah, Harley says, I'm not necessarily depressed. It's just hard to keep working and plugging away trying to figure out when to get out of global civilization and go travel the country. I think like a year ago you were talking about this with your wife, or you were in the car going somewhere with your wife, and I know you're like in the Midwest, but yeah, you're right. It's like, when do you have the money? I would just do it. You know, we left and we came down here while we're not traveling all over. We came down here and got away from everything. So, you know, I was, I guess, more fortunate though than a lot of people, and I'm very grateful and I'm gratitude. I have humility because I know that I'm way luckier than most. Some people say bougie. Well, I don't think I live a bougie life. Trust me. You know, I can look nice on here, but I'm not a bougie person. I like jewelry. That doesn't make me bougie. Okay. Okay, let's see. Where are we? All right, let's see. Lightning Rod says there are different levels of what to do. I mean, like you got a million, there's one thing. You got 30 billion, there's another thing. Oh, I see. They're talking about money. What can you do with money? All right, I'll tell you what we can do with money. We could take the United States military budget and cut it in half. And we can finance social programs, infrastructure, paying off the student debt. One politician does have all those policies, and that's Elizabeth Warren. Again, um, I'm not supporting anybody, or I'm not endorsing anybody. I'm just saying what I read. You know, we could do that with money. And the United States has the money here to do that in this country. Just follow over there at Real Progressives. I mean, there is the money to do the things we want to do here, but it's the political will. If there's no political will and there is a dumbed down population and they are hooked on Rush Limbaugh and Fox News, what are you going to do, right? So that's when you do those things every day to make you feel better. You know, I have been following the politics because I know that our president is in UK, and I watched it, and he is just, I saw him at some church in Virginia. He looks absolutely horrible when he has no makeup on. I mean, he's like, looks like he's dying, but he's an embarrassment. I made a comment today somewhere. I don't have Trump derangement syndrome. I have Trump derangement. I have GOP derangement. I have neoliberal derangement. I have, you know, all of them syndrome, because they're all screwing us up. But it's true. It's very true. Where are we? Torstein, you only cry when you forget about your depression, so you revel in it? Is it one of those states? Because, you know, there's a lot of people that do like to feel lousy. And the lousier they feel, I think I might have been there in my life. The lousier I feel, you get some kind of satisfaction. I think I've been there. I really have. Oh, this goddamn modem keeps falling down. I'll probably lose the connection now, right? Oh, wait. When, I don't know who you're talking to, Max, when you said finish, that's how I interpreted it first. I nearly zapped out of my office chair and spit my beer. Mercy, ma'am. Finn, you're from Finn. What do you want me to say? Oh, Coffee with Tim Black. I know Tim Black. You know, I would like Tim to have me on his show. Actually, I would love to have Tim on my show, but I would love Tim to have me on his show. I really would like to. I would like to talk to everybody. I think it would be a great show, and it's not because I want to promote myself at all. I like to promote others, everybody else. That's the way it feels. And you know what? Ed came in and I saw him say something before, Ed Garise, and I want to go back and find your. Oh, here you go. Ed said, did I catch Beckwith's last couple of videos on food production? That's a deep breath. Well, let me tell you, between him and the chat that I have with Nicholas and Antonio's going to come on Friday Night Live right here and do a live on food production. Yeah. It's pretty scary. And even because we can't get our own stuff into our garden because of the weather. And we're not even flooded. Harley says he's just looking forward to the summer. And the fall growing season for all crops is going to be interesting. Might be the tipping point for me to get out, possibly. Well, come visit us first. Come to Western New York on your way, wherever you're going. You know, if you're going north. Listen, if I could get out of here, the only place I think I don't even want to get out of here, but I'd go north. I'd go north. But that's a fantasy. I have what I need here. I'm too old to have to move anywhere. I don't want to go anywhere. I don't know about, all of you, how you feel. Paul and I are sort of worried about lunch. Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. It's we know that the U.S. Midwest is in a mess, and Antonio will address that, and hopefully Nicholas will come back on, and he's going to be doing his own thing on his Patreon. So I really implore you guys to support Nicholas and watch Antonio, and I will do my best to support those amazing voices out there. For me, it ain't about me. It's about you and the people that are bringing a message. Really good message. So I think we've been on long enough. And 37 minutes is pretty good. I really am glad you guys are having such a good time in the chat. And maybe I'll actually have the ability or the technology to bring in other people with my new modem. I don't know. I mean, it's still not a hardwired thing. Hey, Book Hermit, how are you? He says, if you have money, you'll have food for years yet at a minimum. That's what you say. There's so many different interpretations. If you look at what's going on, what kind of food? Canned shit in your basement? Prepper food? I don't know. Certainly we're having enough trouble planting. And we're not planting grains. We're just planting all the good, green, healthy things, Beets too. My husband likes beets. We plant for what we like. I like green beans. I got lettuce on the deck. Hi, River Hermit. So sweet. Sweet, sweet. So, oh boy. All of you keep bringing up like the pertinent news that's going on today. Book Hermit, anyone hear how many pigs they are culling in Asia from pig Ebola? Millions. Millions. Yeah. See, those are the things I cry over sometimes, like the animal things, even today. We're talking about the pigs being culled, but even today, I passed 4 roadkill deer. And of course, I think to myself, I think how many families could those deer have fed that are just dead on the road? Seriously, because the Amish eat venison and they hunt in their backyards. And how many, but the roadkill, it's senseless. And I actually got a tear. It made me feel terrible because it was a fawn. And so, but it doesn't mean I'm depressed. It just means it's sad. It's sad. And I take the sadness and I move it into something else. I move it into some action, something I'm doing. You guys, my cats, my husband sometimes. Let's see. Lightning Rod says even the zombie apocalypse might be real. It is a financial apocalypse. you will be inside the compound or outside the gates? Well, I don't know how to answer that one or how anybody else could. I don't know if we here are inside the gates or outside in the compound. I feel like I'm out in the compound. I mean, not outside the gates. But it's funny when Sam Mitchell was here. We have a tall deck, and our back is up off the ground. You have to come into the house upstairs, a lot of stairs, right? Not that great for me, but a lot of stairs. And the whole big joke was we could sit on our deck kicking the zombies off as they're coming up. We have an edge. We kick them off. Oh my. Hey, is Val here? Val popped in. Hi, Val. Let's see. Look for those pigs to show up at your local Asian buffet. Boy, is that an appetizing thought. Ebola? First on the menu. Okay, so Max said it was originally reported as being a swine flu strain or something. I haven't followed the development that closely. Wow. I don't even want to go because you guys are having such a great time in the chat. See, that's the whole thing here. The camaraderie in the chat is great. We all know each other. All of you. We've all been together doing this. We all started with somebody. We probably started, who knows, Hambone, Kevin. It's a wonderful thing. It's a wonderful thing. Look how you all sing hello to each other, all from around the world. How do you beat that? Even the most, I bitch about technology and I say I could unplug real easy if I just wanted to unplug, be a big chunk of my life missing. But I've cultivated, and I've met so many of you in, maybe not that's here, but in person. That's the amazing part. Next weekend, I'm going to meet Karen and Basil. I'm praying that it all works out. I'm not religious. I'm just whatever. That's a term. So if you think about it, are fences and walls built to keep people out or in, or just control the flow? Like Mexican border. Ay, ay. Oh, I don't know. I don't think so. Is Chris coming on tonight? I don't know. She hasn't told me that she was going to. I've been in contact with her. I don't know, but I hope she does because her show's good on Monday nights. She's got the ability for community. She has the ability to bring all the faces on that I don't have through her venue. And it was funny because back when Margot was doing her live streams, Margot's Healing Corner, who does the methane reports and the climate reports, okay? She was doing it and she was using TalkShoe. And I loved the chats, and I remember how great it was because the camaraderie was phenomenal. And Val was calling, so you got to hear Val's voice. And I thought, man, I really want to do this. And I talked to her about, well, how hard is it to take over TalkShoe? But at the time, and I've been wrestling with my health for the whole year, and I cannot take on much more. I mean, it takes me 6 months to learn how to use a stinking software program to get my name in it, So then comes along Chris out of the blue, and like, she's got the platform. And it was like, well, this is what I wanted to do. She's got the platform. Great. I had been talking to Oz. He had asked me, I guess it was back when I was maybe before I was in Florida, if he wanted to, to produce some shows. And I'm like, well, I don't know. I'm kind of a lone wolf here. And I do it. And everybody knows if I cut off Antonio's head, I'm trying to learn. And but that we have this little tight thing. And I didn't think it was, but then Chris did it. And now she's got this independent thing with these, so she can bring all these people in. It's wonderful. Don't you guys think? So, and yeah, we all love Margot, but the live streams, they are a lot, they are a lot. Probably when I leave here, I'm going to have to either go lay down, but I did want to go outside and I have to get to the greenhouse. My husband is at work. Pranker Scryer, if magic happens, it will not be because of the internet. Well, the magic that I feel is because I've, gotten to, and all of us probably feel the same way. We get to do this. Why are we all here? There's 32 people here now. So that's what it is. So I'm going to go. I really loved having you here, and we'll do this again. We'll see what happens in the future. Oh, hello, hi, Hakamori. I still follow Margot. I watch her stuff when it's pertinent to what I'm interested in, and I have the time. There's a goddamn gazillion people I love out there. It's kind of hard all the time to keep up. It is what it is. People can't keep up with me, and I don't even do that much. So, all right. You've all had a great time. I mean, I could sit here and watch it and let you go. I could walk away and go back, and you'll all be conversing. And that's the whole point of this. But unfortunately, I can't sit for an hour and a half or anything. So I'm going to say goodbye, guys. It's been really cool. I liked what I read. Take it or leave it, which is why I do it. And you know what, Harley? I'm going to end with you saying goodnight because I'm really happy you came. You've been with me since a while, you know. I mean, I don't see you on all that much, but I know you follow who we follow. You got me through Humpty Dumpty when Hambo met me, and so you've been with me for a while. Oh my! Here we go. Oh yes, the camaraderie. I always love hanging out with my family members who love and support me on your live streams, darling. Okay, I'll shut up now. I promise. See, it's family, and I brought him into my family, and I don't care what anybody says or thinks or does or whatever. This Sam is my family, and he stays with us. And you know what, guys? I'm going to tell you a little secret. He cooks and he does shit. He's a really good guest, and so I'm going to end at that, right? Things are not always as they appear in that side view mirror. Love you guys. Good night.